Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
Growth is not polite. It does not arrive with comfort, nor does it greet you with ease. It breaks you, and in the breaking, it reshapes you. To grow, you must suffer, because suffering is the language of transformation. No man has ever built strength without first meeting pain. No woman has ever endured the climb without first knowing the burn of resistance. You cannot learn endurance by being spared hardship. You cannot build character by being handed what you want. The weight that bends your back is the same weight that forges your spine. Every tear in the muscle makes the muscle stronger. Every trial in the spirit makes the spirit harder. Growth is not in the comfort zone. It hides in the trenches, in the dark places where the average quit and the obsessed keep walking. Every story of transformation carries this truth. Look at the soldier returning from war, scarred but sharper. Look at the man who lost everything and rebuilt from nothing. Look at the prisoner who walked out with chains still in his mind and turned them into lessons that liberated others. Their greatness did not come in spite of suffering, but because of it. The suffering stripped away illusions, revealed who they were beneath the surface, and forced them to create a new version of themselves or collapse. Growth is hidden inside suffering like fire inside coal. The world only sees the light once the coal has been burned. The body itself teaches this principle with every step. If you want strength, you must tear the fibers of your muscle. If you want stamina, you must run until your lungs scream. If you want power, you must feel the weight threaten to crush you before you learn how to lift it. Biology has no mercy for those who seek shortcuts. The only road to growth is through the valley of suffering. Every improvement is bought with pain. Those who try to avoid pain never grow. They remain in the shallow waters, safe but unchanged. The deep ocean is for those who endure the storm. Pain clarifies. It reveals the truth about who you are. In moments of ease, you can lie to yourself about your strength. In moments of suffering, the mask is torn off. You see the limits of your endurance. You face the cowardice you never wanted to admit. You meet the fears that have been hiding in your chest. Only by meeting these shadows can you ever hope to overcome them. Suffering is not punishment. It is the mirror held to your soul. Without it, you remain blind to your own potential. With it, you are forced to confront and build. Comfort seduces you into believing you are safe, but it is the most dangerous state of all. It lulls you to sleep while time passes. It convinces you that stillness is preservation, when in reality stillness is decay. Growth cannot happen in the soft bed of comfort. Growth happens when you are thrown into fire, when you are stripped of options, when you are forced to claw your way back to your feet. The man who avoids suffering avoids growth. He may live longer, but he never truly lives. He may feel safe, but he dies without having ever transformed. Legends are not born in ease. They are born in suffering. Achilles was forged by war, Odysseus by exile, Prometheus by eternal torment. Even modern heroes, the inventors, the leaders, the visionaries, were baptized by years of rejection, loss, and relentless struggle. Culture remembers their victories, but their growth came from the wounds. Without wounds, there is no wisdom. Without scars, there is no story. You cannot ask for greatness without being willing to pay for it in blood, sweat, and suffering. Suffering demands sacrifice, and sacrifice builds value. What you gain cheaply, you treat cheaply. What you bleed for, you protect. What you suffer for, you honor. The suffering makes the achievement sacred. Without the cost, there is no meaning. That is why the path of growth is hard. It must be. If it were easy, it would not change you. If it were painless, it would not forge you. Ease breeds entitlement. Struggle breeds gratitude. The harder the climb, the deeper the appreciation once you stand at the summit. Resilience is the hidden gift inside suffering. You learn to adapt. You learn to endure. You learn that the human body and spirit can tolerate far more than you once believed. Every hardship endured expands the limits of what you can face. Each time you survive what should have broken you, the next storm becomes less frightening. Growth is not just strength gained, but fear lost. It is the steady discovery that you are more unbreakable than you ever imagined. And the only way to discover that is to be broken and rebuild. The fire of suffering consumes illusions. You stop caring about what does not matter. You stop entertaining the shallow games of others. You strip away the noise until only the essential remains. In that clarity you grow. In that clarity you see your purpose more sharply. The suffering simplifies life, and in simplicity you find direction. Comfort complicates because it distracts with too much choice. Suffering clears the table and demands you focus on survival and growth. That focus is what elevates you. Discomfort is not an enemy, it is a signal. It arrives in your body and mind like a flare, pointing at the exact place you are unprepared. The muscle that burns under weight tells you where you lack endurance. The fear that rises before speaking tells you where your confidence is thin. The hesitation before action tells you where you have not yet trained your decision. Every discomfort is a form of data, raw and unfiltered, offering you the clearest map of your vulnerabilities. To avoid that data is to blind yourself. To retreat from it is to live in ignorance of your own gaps. Those who chase comfort may feel safe, but they are running from feedback that could have saved them. The body does not lie when it suffers. It does not hide weakness with excuses. If you collapse under stress, it is because the muscle is not ready. If you panic under pressure, it is because your mind has not adapted. Comfort hides these truths, but discomfort reveals them with brutal clarity. This is why suffering is essential for growth. It is the most honest teacher. No mentor, no book, no lecture can match the direct feedback of pain and resistance. When something hurts, it is not punishment, it is information. You are being told where to build. Ignoring this is the fastest way to stay unprepared for the storms that will come. Modern life tries to trick you into believing discomfort is failure. It whispers that if it hurts, you are doing something wrong. But history and biology scream the opposite. The discomfort of lifting heavy teaches the body to rebuild stronger. The discomfort of fasting trains discipline. The discomfort of rejection shapes resilience. Each time you embrace it, you feed your future. Each time you avoid it, you deny yourself the feedback that was custom built for your evolution. Growth without suffering is a lie, because it is only through friction that the shape of your strength is revealed. Avoiding discomfort is like refusing to look in a mirror because you do not like the reflection. The image does not disappear. The flaws remain. You simply choose to walk blind into the world, pretending you are whole when you are not. This is what happens when people flee discomfort. They carry weakness unaddressed, thinking it will vanish if they ignore it. But life has a way of exposing untrained parts at the worst possible moment. The battle does not give you time to prepare when it begins. You must prepare before. Discomfort is the rehearsal. To avoid it is to guarantee disaster when the real test arrives. Discomfort is precise. It does not scatter at random. It strikes at the edges of your limits. That is why you feel it so sharply in the exact moment you want to quit. The edge of your ability is the signal that tells you growth is available if you endure. Quitting there wastes the most valuable data you could ever have. Enduring there is how you stretch the limit further. Suffering is feedback. Pain is instruction. Every moment you resist the urge to stop, you are rewriting the boundaries of what you can do. This is why those who embrace suffering grow while others stagnate. They are not braver. They are simply willing to listen to feedback and respond with action. The refusal to suffer is the refusal to learn. A man who avoids rejection never learns how to lead. A fighter who avoids exhaustion never learns how to dominate. An artist who avoids criticism never learns how to sharpen. Each comfort seeking decision hides the raw truth that discomfort was trying to reveal. The wise use suffering as notes written directly to them. The unwise throw those notes away, pretending they are above the lesson. Time proves the difference. One grows harder, the other grows hollow. What you fear most is usually where your greatest growth hides. The fear of embarrassment marks where confidence must be built. The fear of loss marks where attachment controls you. The fear of failure marks where your courage is untested. Each fear points directly to the weakness you must transform. If you listen, discomfort becomes guidance. If you run, discomfort becomes a haunting shadow. It will follow you louder each time until you can no longer escape its lesson. Growth demands you stand still long enough to face it. Suffering is the price of learning, but it is also the proof that you are in the right place. Every transformation you admire in others was carved through suffering. The runner who dominates the race has lived through endless discomfort of training. The speaker who commands a room has endured the humiliation of mistakes. The leader who carries vision has been crushed by doubt and carried through it. None of them arrived without feedback. None of them grew by ignoring the places where they were unprepared. They treated discomfort as a mentor, and they let it mold them until they became unrecognizable to their old selves. Growth demands pain because pain is direction. Without it, you drift. With it, you see where to plant your flag. This is the truth most reject. They want the results but not the map that leads there. They want strength without weight, confidence without rejection, clarity without confusion. But the map has always been written in suffering. It shows you the way by making you hurt. And in that hurt, you learn what must be faced. To run from discomfort is to refuse the very map that could have carried you forward. The body is a machine built for pressure. When stress arrives in sharp bursts, the brain wakes, the blood quickens, and memory sharpens. Adrenaline and cortisol surge, and the system does what it was designed to do. You become faster, more alert, more alive. This is why soldiers remember the chaos of battle in perfect detail, and why athletes perform at their peak under lights and noise. Short spikes of stress hormones do not weaken you. They heighten you. They turn the ordinary state into something electric. But that edge does not come from living in comfort. It comes from stepping into resistance often enough that the body learns the rhythm of stress instead of collapsing beneath it. Comfort breeds a slow decay. The mind becomes soft, and the body loses its instinct to rise when challenged. Chronic comfort lulls the system into laziness, robbing you of the very chemical storms that make you human. Memory fades because the brain is unstimulated. Performance dips because the body has forgotten urgency. The absence of suffering does not preserve you, it dulls you. To remain in comfort is to flatten your own edge until there is nothing left to cut with. You may live safely, but you live small. The price is steep. You forfeit the gift of your biology, the sharpened reaction your ancestors built through fire and chase. Suffering teaches the body how to ride the storm. Every time you push through exhaustion, your body learns not to panic when the stress curve spikes. It learns to balance on the wave rather than drown beneath it. This is why training works. This is why hardship strengthens. The repetition of entering stress and leaving it rewires you. You no longer flinch when the surge arrives. You recognize it, use it, and move with it. The novice drowns in adrenaline. The hardened one surfs it. The only difference is exposure. The only difference is how often one has chosen suffering instead of shelter. Short spikes are the natural design. The chase, the hunt, the battle, the test. These are the environments the human system evolved to master. They sharpen performance because they were the difference between survival and extinction. But modern life has twisted that gift. Instead of short spikes, most now live in dull chronic stress from meaningless sources, endless screens, empty deadlines, shallow worries. These do not build resilience, they corrode it. True suffering, the kind that tests you physically and mentally, is the antidote. It returns the body to its original programming. It teaches you to face fire in doses that strengthen instead of destroy. Every moment of chosen suffering is practice for the storm you cannot choose. Life will throw chaos without warning. You cannot predict when it will arrive, but you can prepare by exposing yourself to controlled suffering. The man who has endured self-imposed struggle knows how to remain composed when struggle arrives uninvited. His body knows the chemistry. His mind knows the curve. He has practiced the balance between too much and too little. This practice is not theory, it is survival training. Without it, the wave will crush you when it comes. With it, you ride above the water. Comfort convinces you that you are safe, but it hides the truth that you are eroding. Every day without suffering makes the system less capable of handling stress when it does appear. This is why people collapse under pressure they should have managed. They have never built the capacity. They have lived dull, and dull cannot cut. You cannot learn balance without entering the storm. You cannot learn control without first surrendering to chaos and finding your footing inside it. Suffering is that teacher. The body craves cycles of tension and release. The mind craves tests followed by recovery. Growth is written into these rhythms. When you deny yourself suffering, you deny yourself growth. Stress hormones are not enemies. They are signals that you are alive, that your system is engaging, that your blood is remembering what it was built to do. To seek only comfort is to deny your own wiring. To embrace chosen suffering is to activate it, to wake the sleeping machinery and remind it of its original purpose. This is why high performers train in pain. They are not masochists. They are students of their biology. They understand that without suffering, the system forgets how to adapt. They understand that the curve of stress is not a punishment but a weapon. They learn to aim it, to ride it, to extend it. This is why they outlast others. While most run from suffering, they run toward it. While most dull themselves in comfort, they sharpen themselves in fire. Suffering gives you access to reserves comfort will never reveal. It shows you that you can function at the edge of panic. It shows you that exhaustion is not the end but the beginning of adaptation. It shows you that fear is not the ceiling but the threshold. Every time you step into suffering, you program your body to ride the curve higher without drowning. Every time you step back into comfort, you erase that lesson. The choice is always there, to sharpen or to dull, to grow or to rot. Every cell in your body is a battlefield. Inside each one sits the mitochondria, the powerhouses that decide how much life you can extract from a single moment. These are not abstract ideas, they are literal engines. The more of them you build, the more energy your body commands, the more resilience your system possesses, the more capacity you have to endure, to create, to move. High-intensity training, whether physical or mental, is the forge where these engines multiply. Every sprint, every heavy lift, every stretch of deep focus forces your body to adapt by building more. Suffering at will is the key that unlocks this multiplication. When you expose yourself to controlled hardship, you send the signal that more energy is required, and your biology responds by rewiring itself for greater life. You are not static. Your cells are listening to how you live. If you choose comfort, they assume you need little and shrink their output to match your laziness. If you choose suffering, they prepare you for survival by expanding your energy capacity. This is why training feels brutal at first and powerful later. Your body literally rebuilds itself into something new. With more mitochondria, every moment becomes richer. You breathe deeper. You recover faster. You think sharper. The suffering you chose was not wasted. It was converted into power at the cellular level, leaving you with more than you had before. Suffering does not just build character, it builds biology. The pain you endure is translated into physical change inside your cells. Your very fabric is altered by struggle. Each time you push beyond the point of comfort, you increase the density of the engines inside you. This is not poetry. This is physiology. The hardship becomes part of your flesh. You become a creature capable of carrying more life, holding more endurance, producing more energy. This is the unseen reward of high-intensity suffering. On the outside, you may see sweat and strain. On the inside, you are manufacturing new engines of existence. Avoidance of suffering is the same as self-sabotage. If you refuse the stress, your body receives no reason to grow. Your energy production remains low. Your mitochondria remain stagnant. Life begins to feel heavier, not because it is heavier, but because you have built no capacity to carry it. This is why those who hide from hardship feel tired from the smallest exertion. They are not cursed. They are untrained. Their biology has atrophied under the weight of comfort. Each day without suffering is a day of sending the message to your cells that you do not need power, so they stop producing it. Every moment of intensity you choose is a signal to your system. When you lift heavy, your body hears build. When you sprint until your chest burns, your cells hear multiply. When you study until your mind aches, your neurons hear expand. Suffering is the universal command to grow. Without it, your biology assumes decline. With it, your biology adapts to create a stronger vessel for life. This is why the most alive people you meet are often the ones who have suffered by choice. They glow with the energy of expanded capacity. They carry more life because they forced their bodies to build more of it. High-intensity training teaches you that fatigue is not an ending, but a doorway. When you enter suffering, your system begins to negotiate. It tests you, questions you, tries to convince you to stop. If you continue, it surrenders to your will. That surrender triggers adaptation. Your body learns that it must serve your demand for more. This is how biology bends to human will. It is not magic. It is suffering turned into instruction. You command through pain. Your cells obey by growing stronger. The mind benefits in the same way. Focus is built through the same intensity. Mental suffering, long hours of concentrated thought, problem solving under pressure, refusal to break under complexity, creates its own mitochondrial density within the brain. The brain, like the body, adapts to intensity by wiring itself for more power. This is why those who endure mental hardship sharpen into thinkers who cannot be shaken. They have built endurance at the cellular level of thought. Their biology has adapted to obsession. Suffering at will transforms you into a living engine. It creates a body and mind that are not only capable of enduring stress, but thrive under it. You become efficient where others fatigue. You become composed where others panic. You become energetic where others collapse. This is not metaphor. It is the outcome of mitochondria multiplied through chosen hardship. You do not just survive life. You dominate it because your system is wired for more life in every breath. Comfort, by contrast, is decay disguised as safety. When you avoid pain, you command your body to shrink. You demand less of yourself, so your biology gives you less. less power, less focus, less resilience. Over time, this creates a hollow existence, one where life feels dull and overwhelming at the same time. Comfort robs you at the deepest level, not just of dreams, but of the energy required to chase them. Avoiding suffering is not neutral. It is destruction written quietly into your cells.